Good Sunday morning, people. Welcome to our new time for our village gathering for the Tarot Topics weekly newsletter. Great to see you. Thanks for being here. You had a few days to read the newsletter. I hope you did. This week, our topic is when fiction tells the truth. So here's what inspired it. It was actually a member of this community that inspired it because I had suggested she read a particular piece of fiction and it really touched her. And she said, yeah, that should be a newsletter topics. And so, a few months later, here it is. But here's the thing. I have always been a lover of reading fiction. I also like movies, plays, TV, whatever. And I feel like so much of what can guide us and direct us in life is fiction. And I think that's even true spiritually when we think about mythology. As many of you know, one of my big issues with one kind of being religious is fundamentalism, where we have to hold a religious text as truth, not recognizing there is actually value in the fiction. So while we're here, I would love to hear, what are your favorite books, movies? What are the things that have inspired you? But we're also here to do some readings. And we will do readings really on anything, because if the topic is about truth, fiction, and the stories we tell and the stories we love, that's all of life. So any question you have today, happy to answer it. Let's get on over to CardCam and get going. Starting with Caroline McLaughlin. So good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member for more than 2 years. And thanks for using members only emojis. A message about your fiction and truth. So with this question, I'm going to say that your personal fiction may not be helpful. So like, if we're talking about fiction that is published, that we enjoy, that makes us think, that's one thing. But if we're talking about personal fictions, I'm not sure that those things are necessarily helpful. So we're going to try to look at what is true for you and what is a story that you're telling yourself that isn't true. All right. So first of all, Caroline, what is true for you is that you are a strong leader. You are creative. You have a great sense of humor. You have a warm disposition and a real desire to help others and to make sure everyone's having a good time as much as possible. That's what's true. Something that's not true that you may be believing, well, there's a lot there. There's a lot there, Caroline. And I think it's your whole healing journey. Like I'm going to say, throughout the course of your life, your healing journey is separating internal fiction from truth. And the internal fictions weigh really heavily on you. And I think it may be what is true for most of us, is those fictions can be about how we're not worthy or where we're not good enough. And I think you've already done a lot of healing on this, because I think you've recognized how much it has held you back in the past. So just keep doing that. All right. Oh, Febborn, so good to see you over on Instagram. You know what we're talking about here today. Glad you're here. Okay. Hang on one second here. So RSDD, I also think you missed the chat last time. I was wondering if you could get Twitch subscriptions. Thank you. I did comment on it. I saw it at the end, and I am going to look into it. And thank you so much for your support and for your voiced desire to support me. I really appreciate that. I'm new on Twitch and I'm having so much fun there. So thank you for the warm welcome. And let's keep going. Wherever you're joining me, I'm really taking questions on anything at all. The newsletter is about the power of the stories that are told, but we know sometimes that the stories we tell ourselves and about our lives sometimes hold us back and are not true. And so you can ask questions on anything at all, wherever you happen to be, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram. Go ahead. Up next. Oh, Caroline. Caroline says, thank you so very much. As always, so on point. I love the way you just worded your question, Barbie. That's fabulous. I'm looking forward to doing it. Up next, Nalini Kalu. So good to see you. Are you feeling better? Thanks for being a member for more than 3 years. Am I living in my truth or in fictional manifestations? Ooh. Hey, Febborn, so good to see you here on YouTube. So, unsurprisingly, Barbie, no, not Barbie. I'm thinking about Barbie, but I'm actually reading for Nalini, and I pulled this for Nalini, and it's appropriate for Nalini, so excuse me for my misspeak. Nalini, unsurprisingly, Nalini Kalu. The card that comes up is the Empress reversed. Now, the Empress so often is mom for all of us. And when reversed, it may have to do with issues involving mom. Now, your question, Nalini, am I living in my truth or in fictional manifestations? I feel like your entire life, in a lot of ways, was a fictional manifestation put forward by your mother, who was really just propagating culture without questioning or deconstructing. And I think you're the first generation to question and deconstruct. And so I'm not really blaming your mother, but I do recognize she's the source of it. So much of your life has been this this trying to conform with what you know you shouldn't or cannot conform to. And the more that you break away from that while still enjoying the parts of that rich heritage that are enjoyable, the better you're going to be. Does that make sense? Let me know. All right. Over on YouTube Portrait. Little BH, good to see you. Let me know if you have a question. Adam Bernstein, thanks for being here. Let's see what the cards say about how or what about my narrative needs to change to set me on the path to growth. Oh my gosh, I love this question. How or what about my narrative needs to change to set me on my path to growth? You know, the fact that you were able to ask that question, it's unsurprising that the cards are like, you're kind of already doing it. You've kind of already let go of and deconstructed a lot of the narrative that doesn't serve, and you are very focused on your way forward. I think the thing, here's a couple of things around that, though. I think there may be a narrative that you have around friendship, partnership, family, the people around you, and what that can look like. And I think you fear divided energies. Like when you're focused on something, you are focused, and that's good. But I think your narrative suggests you cannot hold space or focus on more than one thing at once. And I think that you could break that one apart because you have the capacity. You have greater capacity than you realize. That's what I'm going to say to you. Medium that rocks. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. How was the fair yesterday? All of my favorite stories are hero stories, those epic hero tales, of which tarot is one. Star Wars, The Hobbit. I feel that I'm on my own journey. What do the cards say about my path and how I'm doing? I love that. I love that. I love that. Oh my gosh. So when we look at your own hero's journey, the problem is Medium That Rocks. Oh, Adam, thank you for subscribing. Really appreciate that. Welcome. We have a fun village here. Glad you're here. So Medium That Rocks. The problem for you is that for most of your life until recently, you were not the star of your own story. You were letting everybody else be the star of your story because that's what you were trained for. Now you are stepping into that lead role. You're the main character, baby. And that feels weird and it feels hard, but it's the right thing and it's what you need to be doing. Hey, Jenna Perkins, good to see you. Feedback from Nalini. So accurate that you talked about her. And I've been resting, trying to heal, but super exhausted. I've been really frustrated with my mom, especially lately. Communication is extremely difficult. I don't even know who she is anymore. Did I ever? Probably not. So accurate that you talked about her. The situation with her attitude has been sad and beyond frustrating. All she does is argue and say nasty things. Not sure if I'm dealing with her appropriately. Honestly, what might be appropriate is to not deal with her. I'm not saying cut her off unless you want to, but I am saying you don't have to deal with that nastiness. And it could be that her personality in any culture would have been toxic. So like you might be dealing with two things. You might be dealing with a heavy cultural influence, but then also a toxic mother. I'm sorry. But I think we have to recognize that could be a possibility. So dealing with toxic people appropriately, the best way you know how. What else can you do? All right. Medium That Rocks. Thank you very much. Yes, I absolutely am getting into the driver's seat. Yes, you are. Robin Renee over on Instagram. I love that question and we'll borrow it. What narrative do I need to change as I journey through my path? Yeah, it's a great question. And a great question for you. I think for you, the narrative is about your own power. Like, you know that you are powerful, but then you sort of back off. And I think some of that is sort of, cultural, again, cultural, but culturally being trained that your place is not at the front of the room, that your place is not at the table. And you know that it is. But I think there's a little teensy part of you that knows that it is, but. And so I'm just going to say lean into knowing your place at the head of the table. Okay. Smile Soul 20, so good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member for more than 3 years. Thanks for being a moderator. What does Spirit want you to know? I think there's a lot here about the recent passing of Uncle Will and his continued presence with your family. And I think there's a lot here about your own journey forward with new opportunity for work, new opportunity for love. I know you're open for all of those things. So be open. It's a good thing. All right. Over on Facebook, Joanne, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Okay, so, and this is interesting because what we're talking about is like stories, and are stories helpful or not helpful, and what stories are helpful. Your question, what can you tell me? I'm struggling with getting my daughter to be responsible and caring for others. So, if you've done every single thing that you can do, and it looks like you have, it looks like you've used every kind of reasoning with her. And I feel like maybe it is not your responsibility at this point. What do they say? What can I say? If you've tried every single thing you can try and it doesn't work, then it's not your job anymore. You've done your job here. If she does not choose to be appropriate for your household, she needs to find another household. And I feel like at this point, it is time for serious, what they used to call tough love. I think it's going to be necessary because she's going to walk all over you for the rest of your life if you let her. And I feel like it's time for way bigger boundaries that she will see as putting her well-being at risk, which is what I think you need to do, because she'll take care of herself if she doesn't think you'll do it for her. That's what I think. I'm so sorry. I know it's tough. Oh, RSDSS over on Twitch. Do you have any tips for tarot readers? I can read for myself and it takes me a long time to interpret it, but I don't feel right reading for others. Like, I would love to explore that rightness, because here's my first tip to tarot readers, and this is going to sound entirely counterintuitive. Joanne, I wasn't sure how you were going to take that. Thank you. Okay, RSDSS. And to everyone who is a tarot reader, this is counterintuitive advice, but it is advice. Do not attach to being right. The biggest problem is, of course, we wish to give accurate readings, so then we attach to being right, and then it gets all up in our ego, and that's no place to do a tarot reading. Approach tarot with curiosity. Let's see what happens. Let's see what comes up. Let's see how this goes. Don't charge money for it until you know that you're competent at the table. But the way to get to competence is curiosity. And so do this with curiosity. I mean, every single time I do a reading, which is all the time, my entire energy is, let's see what happens. And so there's no attachment to anything other than openness, communication, and curiosity. Try that. Let me know what you think about that. I feel like it's morally wrong because I'd give them some advice which could be bad for them. So maybe don't give advice. Maybe just look at what the cards are suggesting and say, so this card suggests that perhaps this might be true. And if this is true, this could potentially be a remedy. How does that feel to you? Engage them in the conversation so that you're not giving any advice at all. We're having a conversation. Try that. Let me know what you think. And that could be a whole session that we do. Would anyone here be interested in sort of how to approach giving readings carefully? That might be a great session. Let me know what you think. And RSDSS, let me know what you think about that. Okay. Robin Renee, thanks for this feedback. I said I was powerful the other day and immediately took it back. The woman I was speaking to corrected me and said, own your power. Okay, so would someone who texts me often, well, there's a lot of you here, someone on some social media app send me a text saying, July class, how to approach a reading for beginners. Someone do that for me because you know I'll forget, and I think it would be a great class. All right. DH, so good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member for more than 2 years. I hope things are going well in your new home. In what ways am I living my truth? In what ways do I live fiction? Suggestions on merging the best of both worlds. Got it. Oh, DH, thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So, in what ways are you living your truth? I think when it comes to creativity, spirituality, and shall we say, being kind to others and the way you interact with others as you move throughout the world, I think you're entirely in your truth. I think you have someone else's voice in your head. Maybe it's parental, but I think there's a scolding voice in your head about how you handle resources. And I'm not sure that you deserve any of that. So I would say, just try to listen and be aware of the scolding or the, are you sure you want to do that? Voices in your head. If they're helpful, leave them. If they're not helpful, let them go. How about that? Sophia Hart, good to see you over on Facebook. Let me know if you have a question. Barbie Bird, good to see you. Thanks for being a member for more than 2 years. I'd love a message from my truth and fiction. What is the biggest piece of fiction I'm working with? I just love the way you put that because typically a piece of fiction is something I'm going to enjoy reading. But we do have these huge pieces of fiction within our own minds and hearts and energies. And I just love the way you worded that. All right. Okay. What is the biggest piece of fiction Barbie Bird is working on? I'm going to say how much it sucks to be a heterosexual woman right now. I feel like, and I mean, I'm not trying to gaslight you. I know that the crop of available men is not easy or the best, but I feel like, right, but doesn't it? Right? I mean, again, I'm not trying to gaslight you, but I do really recognize that Barbie, I think, and if you're single for your whole life, that's great. You can have a fabulous life. But I think you really don't want to be single for your whole life. And I think you have a piece of fiction in your life that men are just the weaker species. And any man you find is going to be a problem. And it would be so much better. It would be so much better if it were different. And the thing I have to tell you is you're only looking for one good one, and I promise you there are good ones out there. So I think your biggest piece of fiction is about dating, and it comes down to you not being attractive enough or something like that. And then the dating pool not being good enough, which, okay, fair. But we're not trying to date a whole pool. We're trying to meet one drop of water in the pool. You may have to meet lots of drops of water, but I think that's where your fiction is. All right. Sophia Hart, here's your question. I don't have a specific question, but I'm more wondering if there's anything I need to know that I'm not seeing. Yeah, no, that's a great question. That is a really great question. What do you need to know that you are not seeing at present? I think, Sophia, what you are not seeing is how far you've come. I think that you are very focused on your personal growth and improvement, which is a good thing to focus on. But I think in that focus, you forget how far you've come, how much you've healed, how much you have accomplished. And so I think you forget to see how much your historical data already supports your success. That's what I'm going to say. Let me know what you think. Julia, over on YouTube Portrait, I want to move to overseas. Will I make it? It will take some time and it will not be easy, but if you really want it, you can do this. You can do this. Ah, Barbie. Here it is. I had a wild Reiki session yesterday where I broke down over a fear of being passed over. I had my hair curly. I want a picture of you with your curly hair. I had my hair curly for the first time in a while. And I told her I felt so ugly with my curly hair in the state it is. I never used to feel that way when it was long and curly in my teens. You know, what I want to tell you about embracing curly hair at any age, we have to recognize it will do what it does. And we just have to kind of work with it and let it do what it does. And it's okay. It's okay. But that's a whole other story. Well, it'll grow. But yeah, you need to recognize your own beauty. End of story, no matter what. There it is. Sophia Hart says, wow, thank you. Well, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. All right. Hey, Michelle's Mystic Corner. Good to see you. Let me know if you have a question. All right. Betty Flesher, I've been waiting for this question. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member for more than 3 years. Thanks for using members only emojis. Am I living in my truth as far as my goal and dream of being a professional tarot reader? Like, I can answer that without even, I'm going to use the cards, but I have answers for that already. And you know what those answers are, I think. But let's see what the cards say. So the problem is exactly what I thought the problem would be. At this point, it doesn't need to be a goal or a dream. It can be a reality. It can be a reality today. It can be a reality tomorrow. And you know that the Queen of Wands is like my personal, this is the tarot reader card. And so here you are. Here you are. And here's where you need to be. So you are living your truth in terms of, can you be a fabulous pro reader? Damn straight you can. And you are living that truth. The truth you're not living is it's still a dream and a goal. It can be a reality pretty quick if you want it to be. Let me know how I can help, seriously. All right. Baby Cakes, good to see you. Thanks for being here. What is true for me and what is not true? I like that. Okay. What is true for you is you're really careful about what work you do, and you would rather be more careful financially than take on gigs you don't want to take on. And when you can, creativity is the thing that brings life to you. What is not true is that you should put up with egregious people, even if you're related to them. I mean, you have to put up with them somewhat. But I think there's a part of you that wants to put up with egregious people more than you should. All right. Teresa, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member for more than 3 years. Thanks for being a moderator. Thanks for using members-only emojis. I sent my estranged mother a birthday card 2 weeks ago. I didn't hear back. I'm wondering if she's just choosing not to communicate or if something more concerning could be going on. All right. First of all, did she receive the card? You know, that's a question. I believe that she received the card. How did she feel about the card? It made her happy. Why has she not responded? I think she's still thinking about a response. I think she is handling this with care and caution. Is something difficult going on in her life? Honey, there is always something difficult going on in her life because she herself is the difficulty. I'm not trying to negate concerns you may have for your aging mother, but I don't think this is about a health crisis. I think this is about her measuring her response. And I think that by not responding, she is punishing you. I think that may be a way she punishes you. All right. Quincalharius, Renata, good to see you. Thanks for being here. What is true about myself and my current life that I have been ignoring? Ooh, interesting. What is true about your life right now, and I don't think you've been ignoring it, I think you just don't know what to do with it, is the life you had is not the life you thought you would be having at this time. And I think what is also true is you have some nice friends around you, but you've really been dealing with a lot of difficulty and disappointment over time. And I think right now you are doing a lot to try to counter that and move past that. Recognize your ability to counter it and move past it as true. And if you choose to live in a narrative of repeated difficulty, you could do that and that would create another truth, but let's not do that. Let me know what you think. Vaishali, good to see you. Thanks for being here. My question is, what is that truth that is strange for me? And what fiction am I in? The truth is that you have the skills and the abilities to be where you are, doing what you want to do, and to be loved. That's the truth, but it's the truth you don't always believe. So the fiction is that those things are not true. Believe the truth. Julia, I've met 2 people by coincidence, Brenton twice and Finn once. Are they just a reminder to me that I can love again, or is there something more with either of them? I don't see something more with either of them, but I do see it true as a reminder that love can happen in a heartbeat, and it's there. Vaishali, you are very welcome. Princess, good to see you. Thanks for being here. I love consuming romance and media. Yeah, same. And sometimes I feel so empty because what if I never live a relationship as beautiful as that? Well, the thing is, the fictions in romance, it's what Erica Jong back in the day called the zipless F. Because what she said is that in fiction, every romance, and, especially if it's spicy romance, moves so smoothly, and it's never like that in life. So what I'm going to say is romantic fiction is fiction for a reason. There may be truths within it, but it is fiction for a reason. It's important for all of us to remember that. But your question is, will a beautiful love come your way? Abso-freaking-lutely, yes. And it will be even better than the books because it will be real. All righty. Who is next? All right, my friends, from my perspective, we have gotten to every question, so it is last call. Oh, here's Mixuir. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. I saw you over on Insta as well. Good to see you. Thanks for being a member. Oh, and members, we have our members-only live stream tomorrow evening. Please join us. So make sure. I ran into some choir peeps a block from my apartment yesterday, and a mutual is inviting me to the island today. I have tentative plans, but maybe I pivot. I feel weird around one of the R's, and my bathing suit is black and long-sleeved, and it's going to be hot today. Should I pivot? Should I stick with Mahjong, or should I go to the beach? It's just so weird that they popped up today after running into them last night. So, should you Mahjong or the beach? You know, will you get into the water with your bathing suit? Like, I think the beach could really be fun. It might be a good pivot. It's going to be a little uncomfortable, but I think it might be a good pivot and just get wet a lot. We went to the splash pad the other day with the grandchildren. I had my grandson carry buckets of water to pour on my feet. It was kind of fun. Give your grandkids a job. That's what I learned. Yeah, so go swim, man. Go swim, man. Absolutely. And oh, baby cakes, here's your feedback. Make sure you get in the water and you'll be fine. Just stay in the water. Baby cakes, thank you. Yes, at this point, I would rather tighten my belt than work a bad job. Creativity makes me happy. Egregious people, I have to work on that. Yeah, I hear you. We all do. Okay. Nalini. Oh, make sure buy a new bathing suit before going. Yeah, that's the ticket. Go get a new bathing suit. Yeah, there you go. All right. Nalini. I have a question for my brother, if that's okay. Did my mom receive Bailey's paw prints and letter or not? Bailey has since passed, and my brother holds that in his heart that she got it and pretended she didn't. Did she get it? Did she receive it? I don't know that she received it, and I think your brother may be hanging on to this story. I'm not sure she received it. So I think we cannot, I think your brother's story is possibly not true. And so there's a lot of things we know to be true about your mother that are bad. We don't need a maybe in the mix. All right. Here we go. RSDSS. My mom has a question. Good to see you. She wants to know how she can resolve this fight with her coworker and if it will end before she retires. Okay, I like a good juicy question. Thank you. So in this situation, when we look at mom and we look at coworker does not believe coworker has done anything wrong. Coworker believes coworker is in their integrity. Mom is entirely offended. Mom really feels like something has been done wrong. Was, in a broad sense, coworker wrong? I mean, this is how coworker is. Coworker is not going to change. And again, coworker does not believe that what they're doing is wrong. And coworker is pretty solid in the system and is not going anywhere. Mom, if this is going to work, mom needs to adjust. Mom needs to open her heart to the idea that this is, I don't like this person. I don't like the way this person communicates, but this person is not specifically against me. So I think mom is going to need to change that narrative somewhat in order for this to work. I think it's possible, though. I think mom can do that, and it would be better than having to go find another job. RSDSS, OMG, spot on. Yeah, that's how I see it. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Thank you. Thanks for that question. Okay, it is, once again, last call for readings. If you're here and you have not asked a question, now's the time. If you asked a question and I accidentally skipped you, it was an accident. Please forgive, and please reiterate your question. We have on YouTube, OG YouTube only, we have members only tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be doing readings and discussing how tarot helps with intuitive development. Medium That Rocks. I know I already asked a question, but could you let me know if Mahi, the cat, I'll always read about the cat, you know that. Mahi will be okay without me on the weekends when you go to read at the fair. Mahi will not be happy about it, but will be okay. Sleep in a t-shirt and give that t-shirt to Mahi. That will help. All right. My friends, I appreciate you so much. I am available for readings. I have openings today. I have openings this week. Reach out and book. I will be back tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. with your 3-card weekly reading, and tomorrow evening for the members only, intuitive development and how tarot helps with that. We're going to have so much fun. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for being here. And I will look forward to seeing you all very soon. Have a great Sunday. Take care.